It's not just South Africa's vulture population that is being threatened, but the whole of Africa's vulture population. Don English is a regional ranger here at Sun Parks. Tell us the reasons behind this. What makes it so lucrative? Why are the vultures being targeted? What's the motive behind this?
I think it started off as a commercial type of poaching for medicinal purposes, traditional medicinal muti. But my personal opinion is that that has changed over time, and it's now based on very reliable intelligence that we have. It's become an effort to decimate the vulture population because it's perceived as one of our detection methods of carcasses and getting us into areas where there's poaching activity. So, you know, you can't tell me that you come onto a vulture poisoning scene of a couple of days old of 130 vultures and nothing has been taken, that's for medicinal purposes. So what we're seeing on the ground and what we're hearing from the communities and from well-placed informers, you know, there is a concerted effort to wipe out the vulture population. And at the same time, two birds with one stone. If you can carry away a whole handful of vultures, it's over 1,000 rand the last I heard for a vulture. Yeah, I mean, there's big money involved. So, yeah, I think you're 100% right. Although now in Kruger Park, the problem we're experiencing is in the far north, where most of our vulture population has been wiped out, most of the local breeding population within the region. We only have a handful of active nests left. And that has just created a sink for other vultures when they come in to feed. You know, so the vultures that are dying now are not from there anymore. They're now from further afield.
That is the other parts of Africa.
Other parts of South Africa, Southern Africa, and Africa. It's a continent-wide problem because of the distances that are covered by vultures. You know, I would go as far as saying that it's a continent-wide problem. We mustn't look at this in isolation. It's far more serious than what we would like to think.
How soon, if there are no proper interventions, could we see the whole of Africa perhaps, dealing with the same devastation as South Africa is facing in terms of the vulture population?
It's very difficult to give a timeline. I'm not in a position, I don't have the figures to make those predictions. But if I'm just sitting thinking off the top of my head now, in the last 5 years since the poisoning started, we've lost probably in excess of 2,000 vultures just in the north. And our local breeding population is going. So if this carries on at the rate that it's carrying on, we're probably not going to be seeing vultures up in the north of the park already. Vultures, I've been involved in bird surveys there over the last 30 years, and already you can see a huge decline in that. And it's not only vultures, it's all the birds of prey. So we're stuck on vultures, but it's tawny eagles, it's battaliers, it's all birds of prey that scavenge that are being affected.
If these important birds are obviously completely wiped out, what could that mean? What's the impact on the ecosystem? What's the important role that vultures do play?
Well, the most obvious role that vultures playing is just cleaning up old carcasses, but a lot of those carcasses die of diseases and that, and they clear them up before the diseases can spread, probably. I'm not an expert in that field, but the hygiene of the bush is maintained by them. And if you take away the vultures out the ecosystem and you just have rotting carcasses everywhere, that's also going to have its own knock-on effects. It'll start favoring something else that'll increase due to unnatural circumstances, and before long you have something that's populations exploded because the vultures have been taken away. Those sort of effects are going to become obvious when it happens.